Hey Nick, I'm sending you boards. I got a bunch made. Obviously, don't need them. I'm gonna pass on a few to you. Um, Here's the completed remote, and obviously I sent you a link to the video about this. The case came from Bud Industries, if you're curious. A couple screw ups right off the bat. Pin 11 and R5, these guys need to be tied to ground, tied together and to ground. I missed that. These guys need to be soldered together there. Somehow I missed a trace there. This is a Radio Shack trimmer pot, and this particular pin, when I drew this part, this pin is a 1/100th of an inch off, so you got to bend the lead out a little bit. This is the thermal resistor and the pull-down resistor for it. You can jump that out and use it for any ADC you want. I actually ran this button off the joystick to one of the I2C lines. I think it goes to pin 28. I just figured it was already pulled up anyway for the I2C line. I don't think I maybe should have done that. It's kind of a wonky way of doing it. So you might want to cut the trace and actually run this button into this ADC, into the MCP chip. I don't know how you want to do it. Here are the dual EEPROMs. I pulled the original EEPROM off of the prop USB board, and these are the two EEPROMs. They are switchable. They go to these 6 pins, which goes to a case-mounted switch that fits in this notch. I didn't have one on hand. I sure as hell wasn't going to order one single $2 switch with $7 shipping. So I just went ahead and notched this and went with a Radio Shack panel mount switch, because it's what I had on hand, for crying out loud. But you can do anything you want here. But this is a DP-DT switch that could mount here or be mounted to the case here and be wired here with some jumper wires to switch between the two EEPROMs at startup. This jumper here, these 4 pins and these 4 pins, go to these 2 USBs here. They are the same connections, and they are used, basically this guy is the jump from this USB to the prop board underneath. So I actually just desoldered the USB connector and ran jumper wires to jump to the USB going into the prop board there. This is from this USB, and it goes to the FTDI right there, and that is the FTDI board that goes to the LCD screen. So basically it goes from USB to this jump to a hardwire solder to the FTD board on the underside of this board, and then it comes out of that FTDI here, where you have your transmit, receive, reset button, and power, and that would be jumped out to the LCD that's mounted to the case. Note, this data negative and data positive are reversed. These are labeled incorrectly, so switch those when you jump them to the FTDI board. This is the LiPo charger from the Redbox shop. Dead On RTC from SparkFun, XB obviously. This is the main on-off switch. I put it on the board at the end, and there's no good way of doing this. So basically, these are your 2 wires. When you put in the LiPo, you're just going to have to cut the positive wire. It jumps here for the on-off switch. And then also there's another takeoff from the switch side of the power switch that goes to this pin here. It says jump to bat. That then goes to this trimmer pot, which is the trimmer pot for the battery level, which goes to the ADC. This is the cap for over the positive and negative for the MCP chip, the ADC chip. This follows your schematic on the dual joystick module. Ethernet is all the same, except I pulled the LEDs off of it and pulled all the jumpers and the pin selectable crap. Just use your standard pins. Oh, this switch here turns on the pull-ups. These are the resistors needed for the PS2 connectors. This switch turns the pull-ups on and off. So this is the select switch between the Nintendo connector and the keyboard and mouse. Nintendo connector, you gotta squeeze the pins together a little bit and it'll edge mount, and then just glop the crap out of those with solder to mount that there. And that's it. FTDI board. This is a Blue Smurf Bluetooth module. This is the LiPo right here with double stick tape. Prop board fits here, and you got to cut out the corners of it to avoid these 4 mounting holes if you do end up putting it in a case. And then this is your infrared out and infrared in. This is the current limit resistor for that infrared out. I don't know if you want to use that or not. And golly gee whiz. Oh, here's another one here. These 4 resistors are the television. These first 2 here are in series, and the reason is nowhere on God's green earth do they sell a 1.1K resistor. So these are a 1K resistor and a 100K resistor, so you can find them out of standard parts. The other 2 are the 560 and the 270, like normal. Pull down for the temperature sensor here, and the other one is it the pull down for this button? I don't know. I sent you the file as well for this board, the dip trace file. And golly gee, I think that is it. So, so at any rate, you've just been a real good buddy to me, and I have some extra, stuff. So I thought I'd put a little care package together to send back to you. Like I said, use as much or as little as this board as you'd like. It's got a bunch of good fun stuff on it. So one thing I will note is I did notice that this chip and the 3.3 volt regulator on the prop board seem to be getting a little warm when this chip is installed. It might be this missed ground. I don't know on R5. I don't know. So just keep an eye on that. Maybe I might have done something funny when I wired this board. I've actually got to get into my dip trace files and kind of double check my math. But so far, I think that's the only things. There's actually a surprisingly small number of mistakes on this board. Everything was pretty straightforward. I think that's it. Yeah. Oh, this battery level trimmer probably could have had a cap on it, like a 10K cap. If you want to sneak one in somewhere, it might keep your reading a little straighter. But that be it and shit. A couple of these are off to you, plus a couple other things I had on hand that need to go your way. So a very kind thank you for your kindness to me, and a big fat hope that these might be of some use to you. Certainly not something you could carry on hand. It's kind of specific, but I don't know. Solder it up if you feel like it. Have fun with it. Do whatever. Pass it on to someone else who you can use it, etc., etc. There you go. Ding!